When I was a kid, Bone was one of my very favorite graphic novels. The art was beautiful, it was funny, it was gripping, and I got into it because for some reason, some kid at my birthday party's mom or whatever brought me book 9 in the series. Book 9! Imagine you're just like, hey man, I want to get into Harry Potter, okay cool, here's Deathly Hallows, have fun figuring out what's going on. But, despite all that and the contempt I hold for that person to this day, I can't be all too angry because, goddamn, despite me having no idea what a locust was or whatever, it was quite the introduction to the series. After I read, books 1 to 8, I asked myself with my young, stupid, 8-year-old mind, wonder if they're going to make a movie out of this. So I looked it up online. Little did I know, this would be one of the longest on and off roller coaster of a film productions in my life. That still continues with me to this day into my adulthood. The film's production has been with me for so long that I feel ordained to make this video, really. So that's why I'm here today, to show you just how messy this film production of a kid's graphics novel has been over the past 25 years. Yeah, we're doing this. Our story begins way before I first found out about this crazy production, all the way back in 1988. The graphic novel had only just released its 5th book, and it was already announced to be picked up by Nickelodeon for a film series. If you don't already know, Nickelodeon was and still is an animation company, a pretty big one at that. Show figure on screen, I'm not supposed to say that. This was during the 90s, where they were in their Nicktoons era. You could call it their golden era with all the hits they had. Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy, and of course, their juggernaut, Spudge the Rugrats. Yeah, the show about literal babies embarking on their crazy adventures thanks to their neglectful parents was their biggest hit. The Rugrats movie would be their biggest release, becoming the first non-Disney animated film to reach over $100 million at the box office. This was, and still is, kind of a pretty big deal, especially since this was during the Disney Renaissance period, so it makes sense that their next big animated film project would be off of a popular graphics novel series. But as is going to become evident through this video, you yourself are probably going to think to yourself, hey, that makes sense, in regards to which company decides to take the Bone project forward. And well, you'll see how that line of thinking is going to take you down pretty quickly. The film had a full script completed. It was going to be a 2D animated film, with Jeff Smith likely the lead director. However, the projects seemed to start and stop multiple times as they ran into creative differences. Apparently they wanted to give Bone magic gloves, which I wanted to keep the kids' attention, but you're in a world with dragons and rat creatures. I'm sure you could have gone without some magic gloves. They also wanted to add pop songs, which Smith thankfully pushed back against. A quote by him, he said, "I think that's a loss somewhere. Animated film for kids? Put some crappy songs in it." God knows, growing up in the 2000s, how many films had mainstream pop soundtracks and how unbelievably annoying and dated that made things. I wonder who started this trend.
Some donkey.
Yeah, you can make the argument that Shrek resulted in Bone never getting produced. While the film was released a couple years after development started on Bone, I don't doubt it had a big impact on its development, or at least it would in the future. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Something I did think was quite interesting, however, it would have been a unique twist on the series, was to shift more of the focus on Thorn, who was one of the major characters of the series. It's honestly really surprising now, with all of these proposed changes to make the film more kid-friendly, they wanted to shift focus from the cartoony male Bone figures to one of the female human leads. My best guess for why might have been to give the film more of a Disney princess sort of vibe to it. Not to mention, she was already a core part of the story. I think it would have been a fresh take for the film adaptation. After all, you want to change certain things so the film isn't just a carbon copy of the books so it can stand on its own. However, unfortunately, this never came to be. In a 2003 interview, Smith stated he had it in writing to not have any songs in the movie, but the executives were still insistent on it, which caused relations to break down. Only 2 pieces of concept art are known to exist of the Nickelodeon film production, which are what you're seeing right now. This one of the rat creature I think is especially terrifying. I don't know how kids are not supposed to cry during this. After being in production limbo for a bit, the project was shelved, with seemingly no hope for a revival. Until Warner Bros. Came in 8 years later. They wanted Bone, and they were gonna go big with it. The animation company, Animal Logic, most widely known for their Oscar-winning movie Happy Feet. Yes, Happy Feet won an Oscar, don't question it. And the studio that would later go on to create the Lego Movie and all their other films. One film? Nah. They planned for an entire trilogy of CGI movies to be made with Smith on board as an executive producer who would closely monitor the project. Everything was seemingly falling into place. Smith recounted a 4-minute demo reel of the film where he stated, Phone Bone was falling in the water and going through cliffs and canyons. The dragon moved in from off camera in the shadows with smoke around him, all in 3D. It was pretty mind-blowing. The only concerning part of the whole project, honestly, was the fact they were going to use motion capture. Yes, you heard me right, motion capture. In an animated adaptation of a cartoony graphic novel series with talking bone creatures. Look, I'm sure the tapping feet technology they used for Happy Feet was revolutionary for the time, and they didn't want all that multi-million-dollar equipment to go to waste, but come on, really? But I digress. The film would later go into production hell. From what I know, they had the drafts for the first 3 films written already by Justin Monjo, a writer for the TV sci-fi series Farscape with Smith's oversight, and had some animation work done, as mentioned previously. The problem seemed to be, well, everything else after that. Patrick Sean Smith, no relation, the creator and writer of a gay college comedy TV series, was then brought on to rewrite the film's drafts along with PJ Hogan, who had experience in family-friendly movies, but no animation experience. Presumably to fit everything into one script. On top of all of that, House Smith, the Bone one, not the gay college show one, spoke about being resistant to corporate meddling in Bone's production interviews. That surely slowed down the production as well. While there could have been other creative disputes we don't know about, the 2 main culprits seem to be the fact Warner Bros. Wanted everything in one script and pop songs. He stated, "Here's basically the problem I had with the studios. It really wasn't a personal problem. All the studios really wanted to make a good movie, but they were very stubborn about it. It would only be, they're going to do the whole movie in an hour and a half, a kid's animated film, the whole book, all 1,350 pages or whatever it is." I was like, you can't do that. Let's just make the first part of it and we'll make it seem like it ends, but then we can make a sequel and we could keep the story going. And nobody would do that. They wanted the whole thing in one movie, and that just wasted 23 years. And in the late 90s, I was really adamant that there would be no songs in the movie, because all animated feature films seem to have these awful formulaic songs. Well, like when we pitched Warner Bros. While we were in Annecy, they took us out on a boat and were really wooing us, until I got to the point where I said, I need in writing that there will be no songs, and it was pretty much swim back to shore. That was it. That was the end. It is quite depressing to recognize that if Smith compromised on either one of these things, it's much more likely the film would have been made. God, this film production is a mess. Like, production hell is a horrible place to be in. I think when we talk about production hell, it's more about the projects that actually do get made that are horrendously awful or surprisingly good or really good, that I think we forget the projects that are lucky to get out of that hell. Most of which the studios pulled the plug on to not be a constant drainage on their finances. For every Tangled and Deadpool, there's a food fight. Hell, at one point it was suggested to have 3 different writers to write the trilogy of films. Simultaneously. And the worst part is that they actually got good writers. They were going to have Shannon Tyndall, a writer from Kubo and the Two Strings, and George R. Gutierrez, the guy who created The Book of Life, and El Tigre, a Nickelodeon show. We're coming back full circle here, people. God, these people are more obsessed with writing and rewriting the film than actually producing it. Hell, why even Warner Bros? They're old news. Apparently it was floated to have 20th Century Fox take over the project instead. The only thing that prevented that? Disney's acquisition of the studio. The film isn't even a production anymore, they're just playing hot potato at this point. And I get it, a creative process is a bitch. I know it. I'm doing research and writing this damn script despite never doing a YouTube video before. But at a certain point, you just gotta say enough. For 5 years they did this. 5 years, I repeat. It just mucked around the whole time. The project was in shambles. The flames of production hell consumed the studio, and it was only a matter of time before they announced cancellation. But what's that? A guiding light shone from the heavens above to restore the hopes and dreams that once was. The clouds cleared, and a faint figure could be viewed. Wait. Is that the Oscar-winning director for Kung Fu Panda, Mark Osborne? Oh, holy crap, this is going to be amazing! Osborne and writer Adam Klein were coming in to save the day. When I read this back in 2016, I thought, this is it. No more waiting, no more production hell, no more mainstream pop songs. This was real, and it was happening.
3 years later.
There was once again no word on the project for years. The flames of production hell were so strong that it even consumed the guiding light of Osborne. God. Oh, wonderful, isn't it? There was only one studio that was going to save things at this point. Oh, you think I've gone through everybody, didn't you? You may be thinking, what, is Paramount Pictures gonna swoop in at this rate? Well, joke's on you! Paramount Pictures is a subsidiary of Paramount Global, which owns Nickelodeon! No. For this to happen, you needed a new, hungry studio with a proven track record, not just in film and TV, but in animation production. Ladies and gentlemen, Netflix. If anybody was going to save Bone, it would be them. This was around the time where Netflix was really boosting their animation department and were making tons of shows for it, like production for the Cuphead show, which was announced alongside Bone. They acquired the rights to the production, and it was announced in 2019 they were going to make it a television series, which meant they had to rewrite the entire damn thing again. God, I'm so frustrated writing this. You have no idea. One more time. I promise it'll be good this time. Hell, give me a damn turn at this rate. It's not like it even matters. But to avoid going crazy, it seemed as insane as it was, this time things would be right. No. This time it would be right. Smith stated that he got his dream team together and that production was going well for once. After all, Netflix had a proven track record. Finally, it seemed like the pieces were falling into place. And then Netflix stock crashed when it was announced they had a subscriber drop in their quarterly report. They announced numerous cancellations of their original series, namely the animation department. Bone was cancelled. Man, I don't know about you, but I'm just depressed. Bone had all the potential in the world, and if any one thing went differently, I'm sure we would have gotten, well, something. The series is practically begging for an animated adaptation after all. Maybe if they had gotten a script finalized earlier, or if Smith was a bit more lenient in the pop song department, we could have gotten a film. But alas, it did not end up happening. 25 years of production hell, and yet the question still somehow lingers. Will we ever get a Bone adaptation? The graphic novel is ripe for potential for a series, but I think at this point it all lies on Jeff Smith. In an interview, he stated he was happy there was so much support for a Bone series after the Netflix cancellation was announced, but has also expressed dissatisfaction with the constant game of red light, green light with the studios, that it's more than possible he'd just want to stop entirely. Especially since he's writing his new series Tukey now. But I don't want this to end on a dire note. I cannot predict the future, but for a lot of things in life, it just needs to happen at the right place at the right time. Whether that comes or not, the opportunity remains. I'd like to end things off on this comic Smith drew following the Netflix cancellation, which I think sums things up pretty well. Hello, I'm Nickelodeon. I want to make an animated Bone movie. Okay. Yeah, let's make a movie. Ah! Hi, I'm Warner Bros. We want to make an animated Bone movie. I don't know. Yeah, they're the makers of Bugs Bunny. Let's do it! Ah! Hello, we're Netflix. We want to make an animated Bone series. I don't know. Wait, yeah, streaming it as a whole new thing. It'll be different this time. Ah! Hello, allow me to introduce myself. Never again.
Oh man, I'm really tired, but I did it. I did it. Oh, finally. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Any feedback would be appreciated. You know, this is my first YouTube video at all, but I am going to be making more videos. The next one is going to be, what is the longest TV show? That one's going to take a while, but I'm pretty excited about it. And yeah, subscribe if you're looking forward to that. All feedback would be really appreciated. And yeah. Thank you for following the development of Bones production. Peace.